What's up, y'all? It's your girl Shay Renee, and I am back with another review. And this time we are going to be talking about Selling Tampa. Okay, this was a cute little show on Netflix, so I wanted to come on and talk to y'all about it. So let's get into it. All right, y'all. So, Selling Tampa is a show basically based out of the Tampa Bay, Florida area, where it is a black owned, female black owned, that is, brokerage of high dollar real estate. Okay. So, in this episode, we are in this show, we are introduced to Sherelle Rosado, which is the owner of the Allure Realty Company. Okay, and here's a picture of the staff. So this is Sherelle, all of the realtors. So this is Sherelle. Okay, this is Raina. I can't see everybody. Carla. And this is, child, don't get me starting the line now with the people's names. Joanna, Anne, Colony, and Alexis. Okay. So these are all of the real estate agents. And we find out later that Raina actually becomes a broker, and everybody has their own unique background. So Raina actually was a former lawyer. She's highly educated. She was actually a partner in a law firm at one point. Carla is a mom. I guess she was in a long-term relationship that we find later on goes south. Alexis is a wife of an NFL player. They've known each other since they were in high school, and now they're married. Colony is a successful real estate agent. She's one of the top selling producing agents at the Allure Realty, at Allure Realty. And so is Anne. She's very young. We learned that she's 27 years old, and Colony actually turns 30 on the show. But Anne and Colony are basically the ones holding it down for the whole forte. Joanna is Sherelle's right-hand woman. She does everything. They call her HR. She handles everything behind the scenes. And then we have right here, who is this? Oh, Tennille. Tennille is actually one of the producing agents as well. She has children. She's in a long distance relationship, and she has a pretty extensive background too. And Sherelle, which is the main character, the head honcho, she's formerly in the military. She's also educated, and she is actually with Chad Ochocinco. She has 3 children of her own, and she was a very successful real estate agent that got her broker's license, and now she has her own brokerage firm. So that is the backstory on the ladies of Selling Tampa. Okay, so the episode kicks off with them putting together this big showing that they're going to do for this huge listing that they have that's going to be really proved to be really good for the firm. So everybody meets, they talk about expectations for all of this, dress code, this, that, and the third. How they don't want she doesn't want the ladies dressing like they going to the club, child, and she wants to make sure that they know that we are here to sell to the clients. We not selling them houses, not your ass. Okay, so that's basically a dig towards Colony and Anne, because they're the young ones, and apparently they dress real sexy all the time, and we don't know whether they selling houses or tickets to the club for the night. So anyway, as we go throughout the show, Sherelle continues to say this is an up and coming brokerage. I think her brokerage had only been open for a year at that point. So they have the event that they are going there. They have this big open house where everybody has somebody come except for Tennille. But then they show the picture of all the women of the brokerage, and Raina is upset because she's not in the promo photo, which I would have been upset if I was Raina too, because this is supposed to be like an event to really get us out there, and you don't even have my picture in the photo. And they think that Joanna was kind of throwing a jab at her, because Joanna was the one that got the picture put up. And even Sherelle was like, why would you not have her in the photo? You know she's gonna be pissed. So anyway, after the event, they go back and forth about that. Then the next day, Sherelle has a meeting with all the ladies, and she tells them about the commission split changing. So at first it was 95-5, and now it's going to be 80-20, which I'm not a real estate agent, but I looked it up, and actually knowing a lot of real estate agents, most of the time the split is 50-50 when you're just starting out, and then it's 70-30. So even 80-20 is actually a very good split. And anybody that was giving you 95-5, that's absolutely amazing. So Raina was pissed, obviously, because she's like, I'm selling my ass off in here, and I don't know why you're changing the pay. And Sherelle has this mindset, this attitude where it's like my way or the highway. And I didn't really like her response. So she says, when Raina says, well, why are you changing it? And Sherelle says, well, we have more expenses, and, we're going to be doing more marketing, and we're paying for more marketing tools and things like that. So Raina's like, well, what were we doing before? I don't really feel like I get a lot of leads from you anyway. So why do we need those things, or whatever the case may be? And Sherelle says, I gave you like 5 leads. And she was like, all of them closed. And Raina was like, no, only 2 of them closed. Which at the end of the day, if you're getting anything from the brokerage, it's up and coming. And you knew that when you got there. And I feel like sometimes Raina just likes to spar. She likes to go back and forth. And that's the lawyer in her. However, I also feel like Sherelle is not really a good manager. It's really like, you guys just need to do what I say and don't give me no lip. And that's not how you manage people. I feel like if Sherelle had said, you know what, Raina, I totally understand what you're saying. And I would be concerned about my pay changing as well. And I definitely want you to understand that I acknowledge and I understand that what I'm hearing you say is you want to have a better understanding of why we're changing the cost. So what I would like to do, if anybody has any issues with why the pay rate is changing, we can have a separate meeting, and I can outline exactly what we need to do and what it takes to run a brokerage as a whole, because I think that this could be an educational moment for all of you to really understand what it means and what it takes for us to keep the doors open here. And I want you to understand that I'm doing this in a manner in which is going to be helpful for all of us, and how I can implement some ways and some strategies to make sure all of us are winning together as a team. And this additional cost that I have to implement, things cost money. So we have to spend money to make money, and I need more capital to do that. And I appreciate you guys all standing in here with me. So what I will do is we'll have a separate meeting, and we'll just simply talk about commissions and what it takes to make these things happen around here. Sound good? And if everybody would have agreed, she could have had Joanna, HR, whatever y'all call her, set up something to basically, outline, this is why we need to raise the rates here. Simply put. Now, you don't have to go into, this is how much the system costs, and this is that and the third. But Sherelle's way of handling it was, you know what? I don't need to tell you how much my expenses are, and this and that. You don't say that to somebody that has worked hard for you and entrusted their livelihood to you, basically. This woman has a lot of skills. She can go and work for any firm and still make a killing. She's making contacts. And as we learn later on, which Raina actually has a meeting with one of Sherelle's, I guess that's how they met. Sherelle and Raina were introduced by Sherelle's ex-husband's friend or something like that. So anyway, she sits down with the friend, and she's like, I actually have my broker's license, and I want to talk to Sherelle about it. And, I haven't told her that I have my license, but I may just go ahead and get my own thing going and say F her. Which I get it. You know what? If you go ahead and set yourself off, girl, do what you got to do. But I didn't like how later on in the season, which we'll get into that, she approached Anne and Colony to come jump ship with her and like be a part of her brokerage. And I'm just like, that's really fucked up. If that's supposed to be your friend, if you want to cut ties, you go ahead and wash your hands of this by yourself. Don't come and try to poach my people and take them with you. That's really, really messed up. And she would be pissed if somebody did that to her. But anyway, as it goes along, Anne it's like Sherelle has a run-in with mostly everybody. But it comes out that Alexis and Carla are the 2 underperforming agents. So Anne and Colony are the highest performing. Tennille and Raina fall right under them in the middle. And then you have Alexis and Carla that really ain't doing shit. And they, I didn't really like how they continue to say how, oh, my kids, and you just don't understand. Sherelle got 3 whole children, running a whole brokerage, basically solo dolo. She started a whole business, and obviously she was a top tier agent before she started her brokerage. She's handling all these things and juggling all this stuff, doesn't have a husband, and y'all want to play the oh my kids game. I don't like that, because as a mom myself, I'm not going to blame my son for anything, any of my shortcomings. If anything, I'm going to use him to get my shit together and make sure that I'm staying on the right path. I didn't really appreciate how they continue to do that. Like, if you guys are showing up to this firm every day but you're not selling anything, reach out to other people. Get some training. You need to constantly be getting yourself some training or something to help you, okay? Because at the end of the day, if you're not motivating yourself and actually making something happen out of this motivation, you just giving lip service. And that's dead on that. You need to do some personal development. If you can't get it from the people there, you need to do it on your own. And I really wonder if Sherelle was paying them a salary, because I don't understand how Alexis or Carla could have been working there for so long and hadn't sold anything. Now, I don't remember if they said Carla never sold anything. I think she was on her game at one point, but a relationship ended very badly for her. So she was in a depressive mode, and then pandemic hit. And, that was that time period where everybody had to be home with their kids. And I'm just like, do you have family that can help you? Like, what's your excuse? How are you making money? How are you bringing in revenue if you're not selling anything? With Alexis, she kind of gives me, I'm pretty and I get whatever I want all my life, and everybody just agrees with me. So everybody complained that they would try to give her advice and they would try to help her, and she kept on talking about how she was just this strong person and that she can conquer the world, basically. But she did a showing with one of Tennille's clients, because Sherelle paired her with Tennille, which is funny that she was at the firm longer than Tennille, but Tennille somehow is training her. So Tennille is trying to help her, and she actually goes out and shows one of Tennille's clients a home, because Tennille was on vacation or she couldn't do it. And this girl, it was absolutely horrible. She didn't even know the taxes. Now, this house was $60 million, and she said the damn taxes was $6,000. Poor little Tink Tink. I pay more than $6,000 in taxes on my house. Okay? That math ain't mathing, honey. Okay? Whew. And then there was a scene where she was actually with Tennille, and Tennille was showing this same, I think it was this same client or maybe a different client. And she just kept repeating everything that Tennille said. Like, literally, Tennille would say, yes, and the views out here. And then Alexis would say, yes, and the views, they're very beautiful. And then Tennille would say, and the doors are black. And then, yes, very black doors, Alexis would say. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm cringing right now. Like, this is so embarrassing. I'm like, these are basic things that I'm not even a real estate agent, and I would want to know all the things about a house before I go and talk to someone, obviously, that's an investor, someone that's about to spend this type of money. Why don't you know anything about this house that you're trying to sell them? So anyway, moving right along, as the season goes along, Sherelle gives Carla an opportunity. There's a development company that they're working with, and Carla is Spanish speaking, so she was able to help Sherelle with winning over the developer. So it was kind of a layup from Sherelle, because Sherelle met with her and they worked out at the gym, and she was just basically like, listen, you need to, basically in so many words, you got to get your shit together, or you got to shape up or ship out. And I'm gonna give you this opportunity because I believe in you, but you got to get it done. So she gives her this layup. They get the deal. Homegirl ain't post nothing on her social media. People brought this up later on. They're like, well, how bad do you really want it? Because Carla and Alexis sit down with Colony and Anne, and they ask for help at this point. And they're like, yeah, we're willing to help you, but you got to do some work. Like, Carla, I haven't even seen you post those homes, and Sherelle gave you a huge layup here to sell those houses, and you haven't done anything with it. Alexis, she just thinks she too cute to do, and cute and mute. That's what she is. So she don't really do no work. She's basically saying, I can't lean on my husband because, I guess he at the point where he about to retire. So it's like she got to pick up the slack financially. And I'm like, girl, you are not showing me no tenacity at all. You ain't much as picked up the phone, called nobody. You're not going and mixing and mingling and learning and trying to do different things. No, you don't ever accept when you're wrong. You don't accept criticism, none of these things. You basically know every damn thing. And she's like, Tennille was using her for her connections. I'm like, well, damn, why ain't none of these connections connect you with a damn sale? You've been there at the beginning, ain't sold shit. So I didn't understand those two, and I really think that they were just dead weight. I don't know what's going to happen with Carla, because as we learn later on in the season, Sherelle ended up having to fire Alexis because she wasn't doing nothing. And after that whole embarrassing situation with the client, she was just like, you know what, I can't have you here. You just not doing what you need to do. So moving right along, it ends up after Raina had that whole situation with, so Raina decides, you know what, I have my brokerage license. I'm going to explore this whole idea of getting my own brokerage. So she goes and looks at commercial spaces and the whole 9-9. And she sits down with Anne and Colony and say, hey, I have my broker's license. I didn't, haven't shared this with Sherelle yet. Or I haven't told, not everybody knows. I think Sherelle didn't know at that point, or maybe she did. I can't remember. But anyway, she was basically like, I just want to know, are you guys exploring other opportunities? Basically poaching them to see if they would come. So Anne jumps right on and, yeah, I haven't been happy for quite some time with Sherelle. I don't feel appreciated. And, it will behoove me to look at other opportunities, of course. So, I would absolutely entertain the idea and see what you have going on. And Colony was basically looking at Anne like, God damn, bitch, you are real disloyal right about now. And Colony was like, I just kind of think it's real fucked up, basically, that you are even asking us. So you gonna come and ask her top 2 producing agents to jump ship with you. So you gonna hit her hard by leaving, and then you gonna take us too. That's real shady, and I don't want to be a part of it. I'm very loyal, and I ain't rocking, basically. So Raina was like, well, I don't really, it's business. It's business. And I'm like, but y'all were friends. And if you do your friends like that over in business, wow, you a dangerous broad. I mean, very intelligent, but very unaware of what it takes to be solid in a relationship. I get it, girl. Do what you got to do, but don't come and take my top. And then you try to take my top 2 people. So Colony wasn't rocking it, and was coasting along with it. So anyway, with the big open house that they had at the beginning, where all of them had to invite somebody, Sherelle was very sappy and, like, oh yes, I appreciate all of you and all this, that, and the third. At that event, Tennille showed one of Anne's clients around the house, and she felt like Peter, and she felt like she actually sold the house for her, and that Anne should split her commission with her, which actually Anne, the house was worth $9 million. That's what the client was requesting. But Anne was trying to submit an offer for $3.5 million, which, if you ask me to sell my house for $3.5 million damn dollars, and I want $9 million, I will almost want to find whoever that agent, that pompous agent was that actually thought the fuck you thought. I would want to slap the shit out of them, because that is insulting. You don't submit nobody no damn offer like that. That is ridiculous. So Sherelle and Anne kind of were having a tiff back and forth, which hence is why Anne was so in tune with, thinking about going with Raina, because Anne, she knows that she's good at her job, but she's very big-headed. And I feel like she knows that she's good, but she doesn't have good judgment sometimes. And my thing is, if that was my client, I would have expressed to him, Well, I certainly understand that you want to get the best deal for this house. However, let's talk about, here are some numbers that a house of this stature will actually take as a realistic approach to being a client that is actually seemingly interested in the home. If you were the owner of this home, would you take a $3.5 million offer? There's a reason why you're selling this home for $9 million, right? And if the client was like, well, that's what I want to offer, I would say, well, unfortunately, I'm not going to submit that offer, because at the end of the day, that is insulting to the other client. And while I want to do the best job for you, submitting an offer like that is not really going to allow me to do the best job for you that I can, because your time is very valuable and so is mine. And by submitting an offer like that, we're basically wasting your time and mine as well, and the seller. You got to be honest with your clients. And I think sometimes these girls is too busy primping and propping themselves up, propping their boobs up, that you're not learning how to use your words. Okay. So Anne goes back to the house and shows the house to Peter on the phone, and he comes up and she's excited that he comes up to 4 million, which is still an absolute insult. That's still less than half of what the person actually requested for the home. So then her and Sherelle have a meeting, and Sherelle says, did you know that this house, this is the day before she goes and shows this thing to Peter on the phone. And she's excited she got him to come up 4 million. She didn't even submit the damn offer, because if she tried to submit the offer, she would see that the house was already pending for 7.5 million, which is extremely closer than where she was with her offer on the house. So Sherelle kind of gives her some tough love and kind of really just is harsh with her. She's like, no, you need to just listen to me. And I'm just like, Sherelle, we're going to have to get you some classes on professionalism, because you can't talk to Sherelle doesn't know how to talk to her employees. You have to be very strategic in how you deal with people, especially with people that work for you. Nobody's going to work for somebody that is just walking around acting like the head honcho and beating their chest. How you lead is very key to how people will want to follow. Okay. Let me repeat that again. How you lead is very key in how people will want to follow you. So with that being said, nobody wants to work for somebody that's a bitch. Basically, you don't know how to talk to people. And I think that Sherelle has crossed the lines too often between boss and bestie. It's nice, it's cool to be cool with your team and your staff, and y'all initial relationship was off of friendship, I guess, with in some cases, like with Raina and Joanna or whatever the case may be. But you have to learn how, you need to get some business etiquette classes or some HR classes, and Joanna need to set that up, because the way you talking to these women is very uncouth and very unprofessional. And if I was them, I wouldn't want to work for your ass either, because you seem like a very kind-hearted person, but you can't throw daggers and then come back and apologize later. So speaking of Joanna, Joanna is like Sherelle's right-hand woman. And come to find out, she's met her husband, Brian, and her have been married, but they are behind the scenes getting a divorce. So she didn't want her getting a divorce to look like a I guess, diversion to her actual ability to be successful. She didn't want people to think that, oh, because I'm getting a divorce, I'm going to crumble and I'm not going to be able to do my job, which is absolutely insane. And it really shows how, as Black women, we constantly are made to have to conceal our feelings and emotions to give off this strong image. And I think that what most people need to realize is that we are human too. Treat me the same way you would treat the white woman that's going through a divorce and still performing. Don't look at me like all of a sudden I'm weak because I'm getting a divorce and I don't have a man behind me. If I'm not showing you any indication of anything being reckless, then don't assume that things are going to go awry because I'm getting a divorce. And that's that on that. So kudos to her for actually coming out and telling Sherelle. Sherelle seemed to be really sad that was happening to her friend. And she was very supportive of her. And eventually Joanna ended up telling everybody, and they ended up having a party to celebrate her divorce, a Beyonce party. And at this same party, Sherelle told everybody that she was pregnant. and by Chad Ochocinco. Okay, so they're going to be having the 50th kid, child. So we'll see how that go. But anyway, as it goes along, Raina continues to look at commercial spaces. Sherelle ends up firing Alexis. Carla still ain't sell no damn house. Tennille is just snarky with everybody, but it's funny. Like she seems to be her and Alexis actually almost get into it in one scene. They almost ended up fighting because Alexis calls her a bitch or whatever. And Tennille was like, "Oh no, you're not about to call me no bitch." So that was kind of an interesting exchange. I'm like, "Oh gosh, two grown ass women about to be getting into a damn fight on TV. This is not cute." So they weren't getting along. So then, the finale, Colony has her 30th birthday party, and this is one of the homes that they actually have listed, but she ends up having a party there. So everybody arrives. At this point, Alexis has already been fired, but she's been invited to this party. And Alexis has been going around telling everybody that'll listen that Sherelle is just not supportive and she doesn't believe in her and all this, that, and the third. And I'm like, bitch, look at yourself. You haven't sold shit in a year. What are you doing besides wasting my time and yours? Because you coming in here, what are you coming in here every day for? To drink Starbucks with us and Kiki? Like I'm not paying. I can have somebody else in that seat that's actually worth my time and my money and my space. Like what are you talking about? So anyway, they are at this party, and then Colony said, basically let Sherelle in on what happened with Alexis talking to Carla and them at some spa appointment they had together the day before. They got the nails done or something, child. I don't know. They was all hanging out. And she was basically expressing herself on how she feels like Sherelle is basically a traitor and didn't treat her right. And everybody is basically like, girl, you didn't do your damn part. Like, are you kidding me? But I'm just like, are y'all telling her that to her face? Because Sherelle really should not look like the villain at this point. As her friend, like if she was my friend, I'd have been like, okay, Alexis, I hear you. All right, Sherelle's the big bad wolf. Okay, I understand. You're upset. Nobody likes getting fired, obviously. But tell me about what you did that you feel was helpful to the firm. What have you done in the last year that brought revenue to that business? Hell, that brought revenue to you. What have you done? And once she had absolutely nothing to say, then that right there, my dear, would be the icing on the cake. Like, bitch, don't come talking to that shit to me. Tell that shit to somebody that give a damn. Because you full of shit, my friend. Go on, lick your little wounds and move on. This is not the woe is me game. Because that's what Alexis want to play. She definitely is that pretty girl that got her way all the time and everybody wanted to be her friend, and so they gonna do whatever. I could see that being her whole mantra on life. But in the real world, sister girl, you got to do some damn work, okay? And unless you just want to be a football wife or get on some reality TV show that's going to pay you some money to just be a wife, this ain't going to work. You're on a selling Tampa show. So you actually need to be selling some shit in Tampa. Sell something. Okay? Because we ain't buying. So anyway, that's basically how it ends. It ends with Sherelle basically letting Alexis know, because they didn't know if Alexis was actually going to show up. So she does show up. She expresses to Sherelle that she's upset that, she feels like she gave up on her. And Sherelle says, well, what you didn't tell everybody was, I said, if you can prove yourself at some point, like sell a fucking house, then maybe I would entertain bringing you back in 6 to 8 months when I feel like, you've proven to me that this is really what you want to do and that you're really going to work. And Alexis is still like, all woe is me. And Sherelle is the big bad wolf. So I'm just like, girl, what the hell ever. And then I forgot to talk about where Joanna ends up being the manager of the office, because once everybody finds out that Sherelle is pregnant, obviously Chad lives in Miami. So she's toggling with the idea of moving to Miami or how it's going to work with her going back and forth. So she needs some help with running that office. And Colony poached her about the job, saying, listen, I have a better relationship with the other agents. I just think I would be the better fit. People don't really fuck with Joanna like that, and I don't think she would be a good fit. So here's my thing. I understand why Sherelle chose Joanna. Joanna didn't give me, and I don't see her 24/7, so I don't know. She didn't give me stank. She gave me, I'm about my business and I can separate the personal. And I think the other ladies are so pent up on this personal relationship that they have that they forget about the business side. Now, mind you, they're very successful, very driven, but you almost need a person in that role that is not so in tune with everybody's emotions and can separate that for the business. And I think that was the best fit. And with Colony, you're the top selling agent. Why the hell would I have you running my office too? I need you to focus on what you're good at, which is selling properties. If you in here worrying about what Tennille and said to piss off Carla, or Raina, trying to steal the agents and worrying about this, that, like, you don't need to be worrying about that stuff. Those are HR issues. Those are things that are not making us any money. And you don't need to be submerged, like immersed into all of that. You need to be focused on selling homes and making money. So I would not want her to be in that position either. So she was kind of salty because Colony was salty because she didn't get that job. But for me, I just feel like, girl, you don't need that damn job. Keep on selling houses and make the real money. Joanna probably ain't selling that much shit either. So that's why she chose her ass too, because it's not going to be a distraction for her. She probably sells, but she ain't selling at the rate that Colony is selling. So, and I also thought it was kind of, it kind of made me sad. There was a scene with Sherelle and her children, where she was telling her daughter and her youngest son, I think she has a middle child, a son that's older than the young son. But anyway, because Sherelle has 3 children. And excuse me, y'all, it's late at night. So she tells them that she's pregnant. She's like, what do you guys think about moving to Miami? And her daughter was excited. She was like, okay, another baby, but she was like okay with that. But when she said she had to move to Miami, they may move to Miami, she started crying. And that kind of broke my heart, because she was like, I don't really like to get to know new people, and it's going to be hard for me, which is a lot. The daughter seemed like she had to been like a preteen or a teenager. Maybe she had to be about 12 or 13 years old, it seems like. And that's critical time in your life where you're making friends, and these are going to be the friends that you kind of carry on throughout your, potentially your teens and potentially into your adult years. And to be switched around like that can be a little challenging for a kid. So I can certainly understand her frustration, but Sherelle seemed to really, be sympathetic to her child. And, hopefully they can figure out what's best for their family with the new addition coming. So yeah, y'all, Alexis gets fired. Carla is on notice because she better sell them damn houses. And I feel like it was only 2 homes that they were developing. And so, girl, get on your damn game. Raina is to be continued if she's going to actually get that other office and end up competing with Sherelle. Tennille is riding with Sherelle. So is Colony, and is suspect. We don't know what the hell she's doing. And she actually says she's thinking about getting her broker's license. And that might be a thing in season 2, where she probably trying to get Colony to come with her, and she feel like that's her friend. And there was a scene I forgot to tell y'all about where there was Colony and they got upset with each other because Colony actually and Colony met with Sherelle, and Sherelle asked them, so what happened with, I heard that, Raina was like trying to come for y'all and like get y'all to go work with her if she potentially goes and starts her own thing. And Anne kind of jumped around it and basically lied And Colony called her out in front of Sherelle, which honestly, with y'all being friends, I would never have done that in front of Sherelle if I was Colony. Like, I get it. Anne was pussyfooting around and acting like she wasn't going to immediately jump ship with Raina and bullshitting and lying. So later on, I would have been like, girl, you know, you fucking lied to Sherelle like that. And I would have put myself on notice in the back of my head, like, damn, if you can lie to her like that, I got to pay attention to you because your ass will probably lie to me quick, fast, in a hurry like that too. So I didn't appreciate Colony kind of diming Ann out to Sherelle about how she was so eager to jump ship with Raina. That was kind of shady. So they ended up having a conversation and kind of moving forward and apologizing to each other. And Ann expressed how she felt. Colony expressed how she felt like Ann wasn't being loyal, but she can understand, you know, got to keep things separate. So even at Colony's birthday party, Ann gave her a bracelet. And she was just like, you know, your friendship is very important to me. I admire you. And I would hope that one day, if I had my own brokerage, you know, we would work together or whatever. And I'm just like, child, everybody trying to go out and do their own thing. Like, how easy is it to have a brokerage? Because all of y'all trying to just jump up and get a damn brokerage. I can imagine it's not that easy because everybody in their mama that has a real estate license isn't up and starting brokerages. Like, I don't know. But overall, I really liked this show. It was real cute. You know, the whole dynamic with Sherelle and Raina, that's just real touchy. I just think Sherelle, as a leader in general, she needs to learn how to talk to people. Like, period. You, in any normal business, the way that you talk to people, you would probably be fired. HR would be on your ass. Like, she got to learn how to, I get it. There's everything. You don't want to explain everything to your employees as far as the finances or whatever the case may be. But the way that she handled Raina in both situations, where she was basically like, oh, you can just roll if you don't like it. Like, you could just quit. And I'm just like, damn, that's harsh. That's supposed to be your friend. And this person is really working hard for you. This is her livelihood, how she takes care of her family. You damn right I'm going to ask you questions about why the commission is splitting. Hell, have a piece of paper that outlines what my commission is, what it means. And everybody has something like that in every business that is remotely commission based. They outline exactly what's going on. And Raina is a lawyer, so she knows that. So that's one of the relationships in the next season that I'm really going to be paying attention to, because that seemed to have the highest level of tension and seems to be kind of still lingering and left unsolved, because does Raina get a brokerage or not? Does Anne get her broker's license? So we'll see. But overall, very good show. I loved it. I overall love to see Black women, especially winning. I think I want to see everybody win, but it's always good when the home team is doing well too. So especially when it seems like a lot of Black women are not even allowed to succeed in that space with the high dollar real estate. So kudos to them. Great job, Sherelle, for actually putting in the hard work and being the bad bitch that you are. She's definitely giving me Evelyn Lozado feels from Ocho Cinco. He definitely has a type, it looks like. But overall, very beautiful woman, very good cast. I'm excited to see what Selling Sunset 2 has to do. So hopefully they can get another season. I mean, Selling Tampa season 2. Selling Sunset is good too. I've been watching that. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And I will see you in the next video. Peace out.